So there's a few things I want to talk about moving forward. First of all, thank you to everyone who's watched the video, who's subscribed, who's shared the video, who's liked it, and who's critiqued it. Thank you. A lot has been happening ever since that video's come out, and there's just a few things I want to address. Number one, this is my voice. No processing, nothing. What you're hearing is what you get. A lot of it is based on the equipment that I have, and I'm very limited on equipment. This condenser microphone is really meant more for instruments than it is for vocals. But of all the mics that I have, it's the best sounding one. So I'm working with what I have. A couple comments have asked about the music. The music is still something that I don't 100% know what to do with. I think I even shared in one comment, I don't know what I'm doing. All of this is very brand new to me. I want to see about getting the music copywritten for the sake of, let's say if the video gains even more traction down the road and some fake AI recording studio or what have you puts a copyright strike on the video. I don't want to deal with that. And I want to be able to say, no, this is my music. This is my work. Here's the documentation. I can prove it. And at that point, I'm free to do with my music whatever the heck I want. Maybe even just let people have it for free. And if I make something that somebody likes and they want to use it in their background music, it's totally cool. Somebody else brought up the black bars on the video. Why are they this narrow instead of like this? It initially started with trying to find a practical application to a problem, and that was videos getting copyright struck just for having trailers or video clips in their video. And one of the ways I thought I could combat that was narrow the field of view so that as people are watching, they only see what I want them to see. And depending on what the clip is, I could almost be removing almost half the frame by doing that. All of this is just trying to find a way that I can do what I want to do and not cause any trouble. I don't want to do that. So those are kind of the more technical critiques that I've seen. Now, in regards to part 2, this whole set of videos was meant to be all one large video. It was meant to be anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours. And once I got the narration down and I saw the scope of the whole thing, I realized it's going to take too darn long. And after talking it over with a few people, we decided, let's break it up into 3. And as soon as I did that, though, it caused problems for the edit. So part 1 had to be, I had to take the first half hour and rearrange things just so that it worked as its own part. Well, now part 2 has just gotten a little bit harder. I put out the first rough cut to a few friends, and it works pretty well until about 2/3 of the way through. So part 2 is going under heavy re-editing right now. And I'm already seeing that I'm going to have to go back in and do some rewrites, do some re-narration, which I'm not looking forward to. That's the state of things. Another reason why each of these parts takes so long, going back to the music, it takes me a while because I'm not used to any of this. I'm learning a lot of things as I go, one of which is I'm a guitarist and a drummer. I don't play keys. So I've been having to learn a new instrument in order to produce the kind of music that I want. These are all my own themes. These are my own melodies. And I often do the edit first before I come back and work on the soundtrack, work on the songs. Right now I'm trying to get the edit to where it's as tight as possible, where I don't think there's any fat. One part leads into the other, and then I can go back, add the music score, and fine-tune the edit as needed, put it out, call it good. A couple other reasons why part 2 is going to take longer. I'm actually starting a job this week, and I'm really excited about that, just getting him back out there and being useful. My wife is pregnant too, so we're expecting a daughter come February. So that's exciting. But again, that's just another thing that just adds to a lot of this is going to take more time than I wanted to. There's other projects I've been wanting to get to. I've spent so much time editing and working on music and writing that I haven't had a whole lot of time in the studio. Now, I'm thinking about what I want to do for, not just for part 2, but after part 3. And there's projects I want to revisit. I have art projects that have been sitting on the back burner. Some of those are going to be used in future videos. So all of that to say, it's going to take a little more time. But I'm hoping 2026, part 2, part 3 are out, maybe one more video, and more things available, more things that people can see and interact with. And again, just putting out a video, just sharing, here's where I am, here's life, and here's what's going on. But in the meantime, that's all I got. If you've listened this long, thank you. And without further ado, here's a sneak peek of part 2. Thanks for watching.
An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
The original concept was that the Jedi would fight with swords, and then I wanted to make it a futuristic kind of sword, so I made it a lightsaber, which is sort of a laser sword, to give it that technology edge to it.
I knew, reading the script, that this lightsaber was Excalibur, so I knew it had to be special, and I couldn't find anything. And then one day, I pulled out this box, opened the top. There were about 7 or 8 Graflex handles, and I saw this and just went, oh my God.
Perhaps the greatest weapon in fiction, the lightsaber harkens back to a more romantic tradition of chivalry and honor. Its unique design, which varies based on its owner, functions more than just a typical sword, but rather an extension of the wielder's power. A glowing beam of light, representing a singular ideal that cuts through its adversaries and deflects the blazing arrows of clumsy and random blasters. Its power and might can only be challenged by the equally strong and mighty convictions of another wielder.
The idea was to take the blade that we all know and say, what if it didn't look exactly like the things that we know? And I drew this little picture of a lightsaber that had basically these sort of cross sabers. It was one of those things that felt like a way of differentiating, not just in the sort of texture of the light, but also in the design of the blade.
And though Kylo Ren's lightsaber operates much like a single-bladed weapon, its overall presentation suggests something unbalanced and incomplete about its owner.
That is kind of an homage to this, samurai Kurosawa world, but also it's imperfect. It does the job, but it's almost an imitation of the actual thing.
Traditionally, a sword's crossguard is for protection, and in a similar way, this feature in Kylo's weapon implies that perhaps he's someone who doesn't want anyone to get too close.
You are so right.
It's a bold decision for sure, and a relatively fresh take on an old idea. In November of 1998, The Phantom Menace teaser was released, and audiences were shown a glimpse of a devilish new figure, whose weapon design proved to be just as divisive as the nature of his character. Kylo Ren's lightsaber gives off similar impressions while establishing itself against what had been seen before. And whereas Darth Maul's saber proved to be functionally useful in his approach to combat, Kylo's crossguard doesn't functionally track the same way. As much as this design is visually striking, its usefulness and effectiveness is really only seen once in combat, leaving us still to question how these Quylon emitters are even meant to be used, or why they're here.
During one of our art meetings, I was presenting to George a bunch of designs. He came in the room and very quickly looked at the whole board and right away identified the 2 or 3 that he really liked, not the one that I liked. And I finally had the courage to say, okay, well, why did you pick those instead of this? And he said, well, Doug, the designs have to live by themselves. When you see them on the screen, you're not going to be there to explain what it is. The audience has to connect with it right away. They have to know its personality. You have to know its function. You have to know where the pilot sits, which direction it's going. And if you can do that in the design without any explanation, the design will be that much more powerful.
Diegetically, this lack of purpose in design occurs frequently throughout many of the characters, spacecraft, and environments of The Force Awakens.
The whole point of this is what works for the story. It could be the coolest thing, but if people don't know what it is or how it works in 5 seconds, it doesn't matter.